industry you work in, Castle.
You want to know why you never made it, Frontier?
Show's over, Frontier. On the contrary, Mr. McLean, it's just beginning. Any favor? It's such a shame that you're the only witness to my greatest performance. But it fills my heart with joy to know that I'll be taking you to hell with me, McLean.
Nice work, cowboy. Another day, another building in ruins. Congratulations.
Thanks, Al. Where's Lucy? She alright?
I'm fine, Dad. Just fine.
Excuse me, are you John McClane?
Who's asking?
The John McClane? I'm Robert Barnes, head of development at Flyaway Pictures. I'd like to talk to you about movie rights. This is quite a story. Down-and-out cop saves the day with the help of his gun-toting daughter. Could make for a compelling movie.
Thanks, but no thanks. Now, if you don't mind...
Maybe you're not hearing me. I'm willing to pay you big bucks for your
Heard
story.
the man. Now get out of his
I'm
face.
talking bright lights, starlets, big money. Don't be a fool, McClane.
Oh boy. Where do I begin? This is actually a game. First of all, today is Monday, September 7th, 2020, 1:28 p.m. I canceled or gave up on this Let's Play. I'd say either yesterday or the day before, and I deleted all my videos. And I was really, down about it because I was like, man, whenever I have to cancel a Let's Play, or whenever I decide to cancel a Let's Play, it usually gets to me because every game that I Let's Play, there's a reason why I want to Let's Play it. I want to show as many different shooters from the 6th and 7th gen as possible, as long as they're not the side scrollers. So this game really got to me because I gave up on the very last chapter, this chapter right here, and since then I started another Let's Play, Soldier of Fortune 2, and I gave up on that. I swear, it seems like I've been doing nothing but starting Let's Plays and giving up on them for the last month or so. And so after Soldier of Fortune, I was like, you know what? I just got kind of pissed off, and I was like, let me go back to Die Hard because I remember the game having. I remember. Well, once I thought back on it, I was thinking, well, I was playing it on normal. If I could find the cheat code, then I can maybe replay the last level on easy. 'Cause that's one thing I like to do. Like, whenever there's a Let's Play I've given up on, I like to, if I want to come back to it, I'll see if there's a cheat code. And the only thing I used was a level select. I didn't use invincibility or infinite ammo or nothing like that. I just used the level select cheat to replay the level that gave me the most problems, and I was able to do that. I was able to do it, and I was able to also set the difficulty to easy. And from what I can tell, the game doesn't really give you like much slack, even on easy. You can still die pretty quickly. The one advantage you have is the lock on. If you have it turned on, the game's auto lock on. It has a greater range. On normal, you have to get, within a certain amount of feet before the lock on kicks in. And yeah, so on easy, it has a greater lock on distance or whatever you want to call it. And I think, I'm not sure about the bombs because the walkthrough that I was following, the guy said that the first two bombs, they're kind of hard, but the last three, they're kind of easy. And since I'm already playing it on easy, I don't know what he was playing it on. So I'm guessing on easy, maybe you get like a longer time limit to defuse the bombs and stuff like that. But yeah. Aside from that, as far as movie games go, I'm in between. I'm on the fence with this game because it's a good movie game. As far as movie games go that are first-person shooters, it's pretty good. Is it the best? Is it like high up there with other movie games from this generation? I don't know. Because though there are a lot of movie games for the PS2, or movie-based games, or games based off of movies, there aren't a lot of first-person shooters. Well, from this generation, there are the Bond games. There's like 5 of those. Is this game better than any of the Bond games? I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. Maybe it's probably tied with at least one of them. And I say that because as a shooter, this game does some really nice things. Some really interesting. It has some really interesting ideas. I guess overall you'd have to say as a shooter, it's terrible and good because the game has the auto lock on feature. The reason I say it's terrible and good is because you have to resort, you don't have to, but aiming, even looking around I've never had so much trouble just looking around, not even aiming yet, but just looking around to see where I need to go. Going up the stairs, going down the stairs, walking in a straight line. walking while looking up, walking while looking down. That camera, wherever you move it to, it just auto centers. And I try to turn off. I turned auto center off, but it doesn't matter. And it's like you can't even really aim. Like when you aim somewhere, rather than moving the stick there and shooting, you have to move the stick to where you want to aim at and hold it there. And that gets kind of rough because you're doing all this with your right hand, and you have to move the stick with your thumb or your right hand and fire. And sometimes when you press the trigger button, sometimes just muscle or just off instinct. Sometimes when you squeeze the trigger, if you squeeze it too hard, it'll affect your aim. It'll affect your thumb. Yeah, with me it did. I know when it came to destroying the helicopters, like precision aiming, there were times when I would aim at it with the right stick and I press the trigger, and my the muscles or whatever would just whatever. So it's kind of hard trying to aim and shoot with your right hand when you have to hold the cursor in place. So that's what makes it terrible as a shooter. However, what makes it good as a shooter is that the regular shooting is phenomenal. Even though there's auto aim, the shooting is still challenging. It's not like the game's going to aim for you and everything will be a cakewalk. The game is still pretty challenging. Like you die pretty quickly in the game. On top of that, another thing I appreciate, enemies die pretty quickly. It's one of those games. It's not like you're going to be wasting a lot of ammo on a lot of enemies. Enemies die pretty quickly, pretty realistically. Especially if it's like a shot to the head or something like that. That's what makes it good, because even though there's auto aim, the shooting is fun, satisfying, and challenging. And again, as a shooter, I like certain situations the game puts you in, or the game puts me in, and a lot of them are annoying, but most of them are pretty neat. Like that one time when I was in the movie theater and I had to infiltrate the movie theater and kill all the terrorists. You couldn't go through the front door because the thing would fall, the little statue hanging from the ceiling would fall on the employee. So you had to kind of like think your way around it right there. I like how the game handles stealth. It doesn't handle it in the best way, but I mean, what game does? I like the fact that there's sort of a stealth button, because a lot of games will tell you, oh, just press the left stick lightly, to walk. Press it a little more to run. And sometimes when you're encountering stealth moments in those types of shooters, or in any other type of shooters, sometimes you may be holding the left stick a little too hard, and you might be making noise. I'm not saying every game needs a stealth button. They don't, but I appreciate that in this game right here. Where I don't really appreciate it is during certain parts of the game. Like there's one part of the game where I had to like climb on this ledge, and then I had to like walk around the ledge, to do this jumping puzzle. That part was seriously annoying, because the stealth button, it doesn't just control your stealth, it controls your walking or your running. See, if you press B, which is the stealth button, you're in stealth mode, meaning you're in walk mode, meaning you can't run. You press it again, you can run. When you're on ledges, you have to sort of remember to press it. Even if you're crouched, you're still kind of you're not really in run mode, but you're not in stealth mode either. So that means you're going to be moving a lot faster than you normally would. That's a pain, because for this one puzzle, or this one section of the game where I had to crawl on this ledge. I didn't have stealth mode on, so while I'm walking around, while I'm walking around, it's kind of like my character is slipping. Like if you have run on, if you don't have stealth mode on and you're trying to walk on the ledge, the game will sort of push you off. I know it makes no sense, but there have been times where I've tried that section and I didn't have stealth mode pressed, and I'd be walking, and all of a sudden I just shoot out off the edge. I'll shoot out off the edge into the air and fall to my death. And I'm like, why am I slipping? Like it's almost like you're slipping, like, and almost like almost like the ledge is kind of repelling you off, and that's because you're supposed to use a little bit of finesse. And in other words, you're supposed to have the stealth button pressed so you can move slowly, and that was annoying. Another thing that was annoying is the jumping sections. I never met a game that did jumping so terrible. Like how do you screw up jumping or platforming when there's an option to have the game jump or platform for you? What I mean by that is times when you don't want to jump, like when you're trying to be really careful. If you go to the edge of a surface, he'll jump automatically, and I'm like, why? Like, I don't understand it right there. Yeah, there have been more than a few times where I'm like on a ledge or a certain area, and there's death right in front of me, just a giant hole, and I don't want to jump there, and I'm walking, and I'm trying to navigate around it, and I get too close to the edge, and he goes boop, and he just jumps right off, and I'm like, come on, that. And again, the jumping is auto, so a lot of times the jumping works, but a lot of times it doesn't work either. Okay, and the jumping, even though it's auto at times, it's not really realistic. Like during the sections where you're supposed to let the game jump for you, the game will make jumps for you that you can never make on your own, because you can turn auto jump off and just jump on your own. But when I have it auto jump on and I go to a ledge and he jumps, and I'm like, come on, I would have never, if I wanted to sort of play the game without auto jump, there are jumps that I'm not even sure I can make. But with auto jump on, he just jump. Come on, that's crazy. They make jumps that I don't even think is even possible, for the player to make with that turned off. Maybe I'm wrong, but the platforming really got on my nerves. Really got on my nerves. One thing I liked about the game, I love the levels. I'm sorry, I'm a 6th gen guy, I guess. I love the levels. There's nothing really special about them. I just like the look. I like the look of everything. I like the graphics. I like everything about it. I like the chat and inventory. Like I said, I like certain situations the game puts you in, especially with the where you have to wear disguises and stuff like that. It does a lot of neat little things. It handles stealth really well, in my opinion. I like the fact that you can I like the fact that in certain situations you can take hostages, and the other enemies still drop their weapons. The thing about that, I like that a lot, because the first time I did it, I took a guy hostage and I made the characters or the other enemies drop their weapons, but you have to walk over and pick the weapons up. I know it seems like a no-brainer, but there are a lot of games where enemies just give up and they just surrender. This is probably the only game I've played so far where when the enemies surrender, you have to pick the weapons up. Like while you're still holding your shield or your hostage, you have to go over to each enemy and pick up the weapon. If you don't, then when you release your enemy to lock them up or to handcuff them, they pick their guns back up. That's a nice touch right there. And yeah, I really like this game. I really wanted to do this game because it's one of the few games where you play as a police officer. I know you're not really. Well, yeah, John McClane is a police officer, I guess. And there aren't a lot of games on or from this generation where you play as a police officer. Not that I can think of. I mean, there are a few. Like there's SWAT for the PS2, where you play as like an EDF, not EDF, ATF or SWAT member. There's True Crime 1 and 2, where you play as a police officer. There's The Shield, you play as a police officer. That's for PS2. 24. So is that 5? There's not a whole lot of them. And the fact that you play as a police officer doesn't really change anything. It's just the stuff you do in the game, or the different elements that they bring to the shooter genre. Like in Shield, you search for evidence. In levels, you have to search for evidence. That's like a basic thing. Like you have to do that quite a bit. And yeah, that doesn't really happen a lot in shooters. And Urban Chaos, you play as I guess like a riot police officer or something like that. And yeah, you get a riot shield. You get a lot of options. Like a lot of non-kill options that you could use, like and SWAT, and then you can also lock characters up. You have like you shoot them once or twice, until they drop their weapons, and then you lock them up. You can also choose like non-lethal ammo. I like that a lot. And Judge Dredd, you play as a police officer, or an officer of the law. I'm not sure what they're called. Or judges, I guess. You can lock people up, and that's something you don't do in other shooters. Is a certain level of restraint you have to utilize in order to to play those games. Like in Judge Dredd, again, like you could kill everybody, but there are times when you have to lock enemies up, so you have to be careful how many times you shoot them, because you don't want to kill them. You want to shoot them enough times to where they drop their spray can or whatever weapon they're holding and lock them up. You can also use intimidation tactics in Judge Dredd. Like if you see a group of thugs, you could use incendiary ammo on one character to sort of scare the other criminals. And usually when you do that, they'll just give up automatically. Like you kill somebody like pretty brutally, they'll say, "All right, dude, all right, I guess I'm going to the slammer." And so like I like games where you play as like police officers or just something other than just a military guy or a spy or whatever, because they add different things to the genre. Like The Thing, a game that I've had tons of trouble let's playing, that I still haven't let's played yet. That game is, I think, a first-person shooter, and it utilizes a fear mechanic to where like you get allies in the game, but almost like an RPG where like if you want to recruit certain allies or have whatever, you have to do them a favor. But in the Thing, you have to give them a weapon. So like everybody's all scared. They think you're the enemy. They think everybody's the enemy. So what you have to do when you first meet someone, you have to give them like maybe like a gun and a flashlight, or something, and fill up their trust meter. Once that happens, then you have an ally. You know, now granted, your allies die pretty easily, and the thing, but it's nice that they do something different. So I guess I've talked long enough. Yeah. So now that I've put in the cheat code and I've beat the final level, now I have to replay the entire game again. I have to let's play the entire thing again, and that's okay, because like I said, I really enjoyed this game. I really like this game a lot. There were just a handful of sections I didn't like about this game, but yeah, today's Monday, and this is a nice, surprise for me, to end my weekend, because today's, I think, Memorial Day or Labor Day or something. So I spent all weekend playing this game just to give up on it, then to come back Monday and be able to complete it. So I know I had to beat the last level on easy. I know I suck. I know. But when I let's play the game, I will play it on normal. But yeah, until next time, you guys, this is Quincy Awesome on Overlip signing out. And I'll see you guys for my next let's play, which will be this. So I'll see you guys at video 1. For the for my attempt at let's playing this game again. And yeah, take care.